What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I had to make another installment of this video, and that's regarding Chavez Jr. and the Weight Chronicles. Now, I posted, I think, two other videos leading up to the fight, Brian Vera versus Chavez Jr. coming on tomorrow, and some people think I'm giving Chavez Jr. a hard time or I dislike him, which is completely false because if you know on my channel, I don't really care. Like, you know what I mean? I don't care to take sides in terms like that. I really speak from what I feel and what I see. And it has nothing against Chavez Jr. I, in fact, like him. He has an exciting style. Um, and more importantly, I really respect his father. His father is a legend, a living legend in Mexico, here in the States, in boxing in general. And I respect him. So sometimes Chavez's actions, Junior's actions, don't really show respect or pay homage to a name and a legacy that his father really created. He just really did a lot for the Mexican athlete in general. He set the blueprint or paved the way for future fighters like Oscar De La Hoya to become popular, and now Canelo Alvarez. And both those guys, you could tell they have admiration for Chavez Sr. So to see his own son not necessarily taking the sport that made their family's name seriously, it's like a spit in the face. I think Chavez Jr., again, I have no problems with the guy. He's exciting. He makes for exciting TV. I like his body attack, and he's an exciting fighter, but I don't think he respects the sport. He comes across as a spoiled kid, whether it's failing and testing positive for drug tests or whatever. So it looks like they did the weigh-in. The fight's tomorrow, as I mentioned, on HBO, 10:15 Eastern Standard Time on HBO tomorrow. Chavez Jr. weighed in at 172.4 pounds. Brian Vera at 171.2. So this is my problem and why I feel Chavez Jr. lacks discipline. He's had several run-ins with the law, which is one thing, and it's surrounding fights like the DUI he got in the Andy Lee training camp. That was during the training camp to his biggest fight at the time. In the Sergio Martinez fight, which was directly after Andy Lee, he lost the fight convincingly. He had one good round, and aside from that, he lost the fight convincingly and tested positive thereafter for having marijuana. So, and then everything they showed, I don't know if it was just HBO, the cameras caught the wrong moments, but he looked like he didn't really respect Freddie Roach, his trainer at the time. Um, he wasn't really listening, waking up late, going swimming. He just didn't look like he was really taking advice or listening to the advice in his corner, the people that are in his corner, whether it's his father or Freddie Roach or whatever. That's not really respectable. So again, you guys can say whatever you want, but I keep it real. It has nothing to do with Chavez Jr. It's like, oh, I hate him or no dumb shit like that. Next, look at how he looks in these pictures. He looks so dry and sucked up. Honestly, when I seen this picture, I was like, is Chavez auditioning for World War Z? Are they doing a sequel or The Walking Dead? Like, he looks like a zombie. Like, let's keep it real. This looks like Schindler's List or something. He looks very sucked up. He looked very bad at the weigh-in, very dry. And the crazy part is, even looking this dry and sucked up and zombie-like and ghastly, this man weighed 172.4 pounds, which is 12 and a half pounds basically. 12 and a half pounds over what he's been fighting at, which is 160. That's a problem. If you really think about it, that's a problem. Like, not only did they have to readjust the weight limit for this fight more than two times with Brian Vera, first of all, it got postponed because Chavez received a cut, which nobody can see. If you look at the David Haye and Tyson Fury fight, Tyson Fury showed a picture of the cut. So did Chavez Jr. I did a report about that. But you can tell David Haye's cut is a lot deeper, and it looks like more severe. It looks like a real deep cut to the point where the Tyson Fury David Haye fight is not even taking place this year. It's happening in 2014, February 2014, if I'm not mistaken. So, in my opinion, I think they used the Chavez Jr. cut and embellished and made the cut sound a lot more severe because it looked like a little nick, like a boo boo. It didn't look like an owie. It didn't look like a deep cut like David Haye's. And I honestly think they use that to buy time for Chavez Jr., who was probably having trouble making weight. Now, this is the thing. Just because you're suspended from the sport like Chavez Jr. was for over a year doesn't mean you need to balloon up in weight and gain a lot of weight. I've seen a lot of other fighters that have been suspended. Currently, Jay Leon Love tested positive in his last fight against Gabe Rosado, and that was in May. But I've seen recent pictures, and I follow him on Instagram. I talked to him recently as well. We're supposed to get together and do an interview coming soon, and he is in shape. He's still in shape. He looks like he's good at shape. It looks like he's still getting work in and still in Vegas at the doghouse training, still doing sparring, and he can't fight. He's not even eligible to fight. I don't even think till like the very end of like fourth quarter, like maybe November, but he's still in shape. That still shows that he's still ready to fight. Like he can come back immediately, you know what I mean, and fight Gabriel Rosado or maybe the winner of Quillen and Rosado or whatever the situation. Chavez Jr. took his layoff like it was a job layoff, like he was collecting unemployment, ballooned up over 200 pounds. Now he has to kill himself to make weight, and he just looks horrible. He looks horrible. I don't even know if I want to do a prediction fight or for this fight, for the Brian Vera Chavez Jr. fight. Hope it's a competitive fight. All I know is that the weigh-in Chavez Jr. didn't look good. He looked very, like, it looked like he was starving himself, like Christian Bale and the Machinist. He just didn't look good. He looked very dry and not ready for war. So hopefully he's not underestimating Brian Vera, who looked very in shape. And obviously Brian Vera not being as big of a name as Chavez Jr., he wants what Chavez Jr. has. So hopefully we see a competitive fight. I don't care who wins. I may or may not get around to doing a prediction video, but Chavez Jr. to me wasn't impressive at the weigh-in. He looked like he was hurting. He looked like a zombie. And just judging by the past, Chavez Jr. rehydrates and gains a lot of weight, which could pose problems for Brian Vera if he rehydrates. But I don't recall a time where he looked this bad, starving himself to make weight. He looked really bad. Plus, he's coming off a long layoff, so hopefully we have a good fight on our hands. With everything considered, he may go in and demolish Brian Vera just because he's much bigger, the heavier puncher. But he may look suspect because he definitely looked suspect in the weigh-in, and he might have some ring rust because he took a beating in the Chavez fight and been on a long layoff since. So I just hope for Chavez Jr., for his sake, for his father's sake, for their name's sake, he just takes boxing really serious and gets his shit like on his P's and Q's, because people want to see the Chavez Juniors of the world fight the Canelos. And judging by work ethic alone, I'd be anxious to see how that fight looks, because Canelo looks like a fighter who's big himself, and that could be huge for Mexico. But I see Canelo as being younger and more disciplined in terms of his training, at the very least. And he looks like he has a mature mindset. So I'd really be anxious to see Chavez Jr. and Canelo if they can maybe fight at 160, which is something Chavez Jr. has proposed at one point or another. So if you just look at this picture right here, this is Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. and Jr. And this is Jr. at 6 months old. He's weighing 148 pounds, bigger than most other kids, 6 months. No, just playing. But look at this next picture, and this is Chavez Sr. He just looks like he's telling his son, you ain't gonna fuck up our family name. Like, you gonna get on this treadmill, you gonna run. Like, no, no, niño, rápido, rápido. So, I don't know. I just feel like he needs to take this shit seriously, because not only is his career at stake, his family's name. I mean, at the end of the day, no one's going to lose respect for Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., but it just doesn't look good when you're a legend and then you have someone who's carrying on your legacy and or name, and they're not doing it justice. And I'm just cut from the cloth that I respect my elders. I definitely respect the pioneers and the ones that came before me. So just everyone that knows boxing, whether it's Burt Sugar or the fighters like seniors, Salvador Sanchez's, the Roy Jones Juniors, just anybody that laid the groundwork. So we'll see tomorrow what happens. My money's still with Chavez Jr. just because he does rehydrate and his body attack, his pressure. He has his dad's chin. So I think it'll probably be too much for Brian Vera, but I'll try to work on an actual prediction video. What do you guys think of this picture? Does Chavez Jr. look fit and ready to go or not? So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, as always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos, Ego signing off.